Hello!
Hello! La, la,
La,
la.
la, la. Welcome to the Second Button Podcast. This is episode 5, the stock tip. I'm Andrew Walsh.
And I'm Brian Gower, and this is episode 5, the season finale of season 1. So
But it wasn't like a season finale. You know what I mean?
I guess it was just the end of
last
it.
episode of the season.
Yeah. The last
There's no
one.
no big cliffhanger on the
I think
season 1 of Seinfeld.
it's funny because I'm sure they were just like, "Is this gonna work out?" It totally
Yeah,
did.
Yeah. Like, what's it about? Like, nothing. It's
Yeah.
not going to work.
I think I did,
But it did.
definitely watched a lot of this when it was just on TV. So I'm like, I didn't know when seasons ended and stuff like that. I was just like watching. I'm like, okay, cool. So I finished this one, and then I did start watching the season 2, catching it, going a little bit ahead, cheating. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Taking notes.
this again. I probably say it every week. I remember season 1 of this, of Seinfeld kind of sucking, or not being as good as the rest.
Because when I sat down to watch this, like, season 1's not going to feel like Seinfeld. We'll get through it. We'll push through it. Maybe we'll just do it all in one episode. But they're all good Seinfeld episodes.
Yeah, they're all good, and they're just a little different. Different, coat of paint on them, a little different feel. But I was texting with you last night. It's like season 8 is like, I've been jumping around to the show. I started season 8. I'm like, oh, it's cleaner looking, and then definitely a lot more. Like less, there's no stand-up bits in it at all, and I'm like, And then the music, they definitely have the transitions with the bass, pop and slapping bass,
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I never realized they took away the stand-up bits.
Yeah.
Like, I read that text this morning. I was like, it blew my mind.
I'm like, I don't know when it happened, but anyway. So this is the final episode for season 1 here, and it's a good one. But before we get into that, let's talk about what's new, what's shaking, what's grooving. Andrew, what's new in your world?
Not a whole lot going on. I got my 6 pairs of glasses came in, I think, since the last episode.
I think you told me, like, I have 1 pair of glasses that I've had since 2009.
Yeah.
I need to up mine, I guess.
I get bored. So I had a pair that were a more expensive pair, and I got the lenses changed in them. And it's been a month almost. So I put them at the optometrist, gave them my glasses. They're going to order lenses. It was going to be $161.50.
Yeah.
So I came home, I went on Zenny, and for 17 cents less, I got 6 pairs of glasses with a prescription, the frame, prescription, anti-glare, anti-reflective, and they showed up within a week. And I still didn't get my glasses back from the optometrist, so I paid the same price for 1 pair of lenses.
Oh, Jesus.
Stupid. But I got all different colors. I got red, yellow, white, black, clear.
Yeah, there you go.
And a teal.
You're stunting. getting glasses.
I'm gonna get my Converse to match up to all my pairs of glasses.
Yeah, I was about to ask, because you're a Converse guy, so you can have a little inexpensive. I mean, canvas Converse shoes. They got some price
like
to them.
$60,
Yeah, but they're not like Red Wings.
Exactly.
I know. See these boots, baby. No, they so you can have the matching. You're gonna match. I like it.
Stylish. So I got that, and I started my Star Wars Advent calendar this week. I started 2 days late because I'm counting down to the Book of Boba Fett instead of counting down to Christmas. It just sounds more exciting to me. So I usually do that with the Lego Star Wars Advent calendar, and then each day you get a little Lego thing to put together, and I'm doing that countdown for the show.
Yeah.
2 days after Christmas.
It's like little Lego like ships, or even Lego guys that are Star Wars.
Yeah.
Are you big on Legos building the actual, like, the ones that are like thousands of pieces and stuff?
I'm big on the idea of it.
The execution, yeah.
I'm big on looking at them when they're on sale, and I'm big at buying the cheaper ones in the box and have them stack up in a corner.
Yeah, and not build them.
Yeah, I got 2 here that are 500-piece ones. I got an X-wing and a TIE fighter.
Yeah, I think
I got them on sale, and they're sitting in the corner.
Yeah,
so I'll do those, wouldn't I? And I have a Kramer puzzle too. I want to put together.
Oh, okay, nice.
And then if we start doing video, that can kind of be in the background because I frame the puzzle.
Is it the Kramer?
The Kramer.
Oh,
yeah.
it's the Kramer. Okay.
Yeah.
And definitely when I went to Legoland with my, for my nephew's birthday this past summer, I saw they had the Seinfeld a Lego set, and I was very
little mini sets. Yeah.
I was very tempted to buy it, and I'm like, I'm never gonna build this thing. And I was like, it wasn't too. It was like $60, which I guess for pieces of plastic, that's could be egregious. But I'm like, and I was like, I held on to it, and I was like, maybe, no, and I'm like, I'll never build it because I was gifted an X-wing. I don't remember how many pieces. It was one of the bigger ones that I'm like, oh, this is like, there's like 12 or 13 bags of pieces. And I'm like, there's actual steps and work. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do this. I'm like,
sounds like a good idea at the time.
I still haven't done it yet. It was, it's in my co-host of the Tone Jerks. It's probably still in his garage, just buried.
He's not even in his garage anymore.
No, he's a couple states away, so yeah. I'll have to go find it and maybe just take the time to actually build it and do something with it. Or
in his garage.
Yeah.
Just build it there.
A workbench, take it up. I'm building something. But I love the idea of that. Same thing with you. I'm like, I love the idea. Like, I think the only thing I built from that X-wing was an R2-D2. Where you just put on his little arms.
You just put the head on him.
That and then the tank roller arm things that he has. Yeah, and but it's fun. So that's cool. So it's like it's actually like each 25 days or whatever, and each day you get a little toy or something like that.
Yeah, you all toy in each box of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying it's a book of Boba Fett, or
it's a spin-off from the Mandalorian series.
Gotcha.
So they had 2 seasons of Mandalorian, then there's a Boba Fett series coming out that's spun off of.
Okay, yeah. I was going to ask.
The Mandalorian is a spin-off of Boba Fett from the movies, but then the show Boba Fett's a spin-off of the Mandalorian show. Full circle.
They're making copies of copies.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then that's coming Disney Plus, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it comes out December 27th, so I'll be watching that.
Okay, I have not watched
the. Oh yeah, you should watch it.
I have not watched Mandalorian. Is it done? Or is it?
There's season 3 coming out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like there's 2 seasons out now. There's only 8 episodes. They're like 40 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
So it's not a big commitment.
Yeah.
Ashley just finished watching them up. We watched them together over the last month or so with her aunt.
Yeah, and then getting ready for Boba Fett.
Yeah, and I'm watching that Beatles thing too. I'm right up to almost the rooftop concert, halfway through the third installment of the Beatles documentary.
You're like, spoiler alert, they do play that.
They play on a roof.
You're like,
but watching it though, I didn't realize it was the rooftop performance because they're talking about other things. And then I was like, wait a minute, this ends with the rooftop performance, like in the trailer for it.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
You
mind blown.
You throw your drink on the ground. Damn it. I already know the ending.
Yeah. As a musician or as a non-musician, it's just interesting to watch their process.
Yeah.
Their interactions as people is interesting. They're not, it's like any other famous people. They're not who you really think they are, but this is just so raw that it just shows who they are. And there's no real gloss put over it. It's just straight up raw footage and all pieced together really well. So with no commentary either. There's no one talking over it. It's just, here it is. And they pieced it together and
they're able to tell a story without having a narration or like commentary, like, oh, this is what happened, what I felt during this. So you kind of almost just feel it in the moment.
Yeah, you can see it in their eyes and the way they move and their reactions, and yeah, it's really well done. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
even if you're not a fan of the Beatles, watch it. It's good.
Yeah,
to all our listeners out there,
when you're done watching Seinfeld, watch that.
Yeah, exactly. What's new with you?
Not a whole lot. I guess work is nuts. We're in the Christmas holiday season. I guess when this episode comes out, it'll be the week of Christmas. So I'll be happy when it's over.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to January, man. But it's good, you know. I don't know what it is, but people are, you know, it's busy. People are buying, you know, it's a lot of shipping, receiving and stuff like that is what I do. And, you know, it's crazy. So I'm like, today, I'm like, dude, I was just wiped out. It was my day off. I'm like, I made a joke to you. I'm like, oh, I'm probably going to sleep until noon. I did.
Yeah.
So today, I'm like, I had to get a bunch of fucking chores and shit done. And then errands. Yeah, but other than that, I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of Christmas and stuff like that, but I think just working retail, it's just I'm like, it sounds like I'm like a Grinch, but I'm just like I'm ready for it to be done, dude. I don't know.
I like the idea of Christmas. I enjoy Christmas.
hmm
I find I don't enjoy Christmas in September, and by the time Christmas comes, it's so much. I don't want to be like commercialized Christmas, but it's in your face so much
Yeah.
for the 2 months, 3 months before Christmas. By the time Christmas comes around, I'm not excited for Christmas because I've been in it for 3 months and now I'm
Mhm.
bored.
Yeah.
I'd rather if it was just like, December 10th,
I am
decorating the stores. Right?
yeah. Like what is it? It's only the 5th today to give
Mhm.
context of when we're recording. But I'm stoked. I'm kind of most of the way done with a lot of my Christmas shopping. And I guess I'm just going to lie. I was lying. I didn't do a damn thing of shopping so far. I've just my sisters have done the shopping for parents and each other, and I'm just giving them money.
Well, your shopping's still done.
It's the shopping is done. I have not done any shopping. So,
Yeah.
so either way, dude, I feel like that's a win. So it's most of it's all done. It's already purchased. It's ready to go. Ready to be given, and I can just look and I'm like, oh, it's like the meme of the dad, like looking, he's just as surprised as the kid. I'm like,
what did I get you?
What did I get? Yeah. And I'm like to my mom and my sister, I'm like, what did I get you?
We got my mom and my aunts the same thing this year. It's like I can't really say what it is because it's not Christmas yet.
Yeah.
They might be listening.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're pretty happy with what we got them this year. It's kind of something unique that they can all kind of enjoy together.
Some people who are just hard to shop for. I have my sisters ask me, what do you want? I'm like, I just want Christmas to be over. That's what I want. And it kind of feel like a little different because I'm like, I don't know. I guess I don't really, I don't need anything. And that's always the thing. I'm like, of course you don't need anything, but I'm like, what do you want? I don't know, beer or whiskey. And then they're like, it makes you just sound like an alcoholic. But I'm like, it's, I could use that. It's not going to be like something like I'm going to drink it all in one night. But it's like, that's something eventually I would buy. So like, okay, cool, just something like that.
If someone buys you clothes, it means well, but it's usually nothing that, My parents actually do really well buying clothes. They buy Ashley sweaters and stuff, and it's always something that she would buy herself. And if they buy me a shirt or something, it's something I'll buy myself. But other than that, you shouldn't buy people clothes.
I don't know. I'm underwear and socks for sure. Buy me those. So whiskey, underwear, socks, boom.
There you go.
Then so that's usually my.
I'm not buying you nothing.
Yeah, I ain't getting you jack shit. If one were to buy me something, how about that? But
Lego.
I guess in the immediate. So as of today, I'm going to go see a concert tonight. So it's a local band. So a friend, he's been on my show. Will Lopez, his band Fair Play are playing. Just a bar gig. And I'm stoked to see a show. I haven't been out to see a music show that I haven't played in forever.
No.
So after we record this, I'm going to head out with my bandmates, Adam and Brian, and we're going to go see a show. And I'm like, because Adam hit us both up, I'm like, oh, you guys want to go see Will's band? I'm like, yeah, I guess we could do that. I never... I'm like, yeah, we could go see a band. I was like, at first it was like, because we've never gone to a show together. And then we all thought about it. I'm like, yeah, we should. Why haven't we ever done that? I think just of like, with restrictions and stuff like that or whatever, the past couple of years or whatever it'll be 2 years coming up soon. It's just been crazy. And then if I've gone out to like bigger comedy shows. So like bigger events and stuff like that. I haven't just gone to a bar to see a band. So I'm stoked, just to go see music. So that's kind of my
I'd like to go see some music.
Immediate what's
or
new.
Comedy. We really don't have a comedy scene. We have a Yuck Yucks apparently, I found out, but it's like they have one person a week kind of thing.
Do they
have
not
really a big scene here? So
bigger. I mean, I'm sure. Well, probably not now, but I mean, sure they would get New York guys going up there.
Yeah, I figure probably next summer will probably pick up again. Hopefully.
I'm trying to think of like, I'm so bad with what where Canada is in like the cities, but it was
We're up.
I know you're up, you're north, but I'm thinking of like west or east because you're actually Nova Scotia is like I looked at it on a map, like you're really far over.
Yeah, well, Newfoundland's a
You're
little bit further.
way over actually.
We're the furthest east, and Newfoundland is a little further but close enough that instead of a 1 hour time zone change, it's only half an hour time zone change.
Yeah,
so kind of
I
overlapping.
think I look at it on a map, and I was trying to like figure out where a boy Doug Christ over there from 37 Effects, and I was like, oh wait, no, he's more east of New York, and I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know any geography. I'm really dumb. Then I was like, I'm like, where's Andrew?
West,
Holy shit!
If I drive west for 6 hours and then drive south for 6 hours, I'm at Doug's house.
That's a good ways away. And I think of
it's 6 hours west to get to the border of Maine where we cross, and so it's a good distance sticking out past the U.S. Right? So,
yeah, totally. And
anyway, this isn't a geography podcast, I don't think.
Yeah. Anyways, look at a map.
About stock tips.
Look at a map, and you'll learn, like I did.
Yeah.
I'm 33 years old, and I'm like, oh wow, the world is big. That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's talk about the episode. So, episode 5, the stock tip. So it starts off with food and drink comedy bit that Jerry's doing, stand-up bit. He's talking about like being at a restaurant. It's like when you're ordering and stuff like that, you just go nuts. He's like, you're like a king, or it's like more drinks, more appetizers, more da da da. And it's like before you get the bill, and you're like, what? Why am I paying for this? I'm not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I want to pay for food. I'm not even hungry.
Yeah.
I had this happen. There's a place here called the Middle Spoon. It's like the dessert spoon's the Middle Spoon.
Yeah.
It's the name of the place. And they have desserts and drinks. So we're going to do lunch with a friend.
Yeah.
And she's really busy with a bunch of stuff going on. So we said it was going to be later in the evening. Said, let's just go to this dessert place and we'll get a dessert and a drink because they have like a little bar and then
Yeah.
fancy desserts.
That sounds like a bad combo.
Oh my God. So we all order a dessert and a drink, and we sat there, and then the bartender comes over. He goes, do you guys want this one? He goes, it's blue, but then I pour, there's 2 drinks, and I pour one drink in the other, and then they turn pink. I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. Let's try that.
Yeah.
So we leave this place and get the slip, and it's like $100. I was like, all we did was have a couple drinks and some dessert.
Yeah.
Like, you're not looking at the prices. You're just sitting around chatting, having a good time. And I was like, I don't think I should have to pay for this because it's gone.
It's gone. It's done. I did it.
It's almost like if you prepay, you feel like you got more value because you paid for it. You have it in your hand. But once it's gone and you're paying for it, you're like, well, that's nothing now. It's halfway to shit now.
Yeah, it's halfway. I'm paying for shit. You shit, pal. What you pay? You having me pay for? It's shit. I've done it. Like I'm at a bar and I'm like, oh, like a friend's birthday, and I'm like, okay, it's your birthday. Pick any drink that you want, and I'll get it for you. She just picked a random one, and I'm like, that cocktail that you picked was $35 fucking
for a drink.
And she's like, I didn't know it was that much. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm paying for it, but I'm gonna bitch about it.
I'm going to complain for the next year, and you're not getting a birthday present next year
until your next birthday. Yeah. You know what you're getting? You're getting a Colt 45 in a brown bag. That's what you're getting. But yeah, so it's funny. It's like the bit of like going shopping, grocery shopping when you're hungry. It's like you just go nuts.
Bad idea,
but it's good. Anyways, the episode opens up with Jerry and George talking about Superman at Monk's.
The first Superman reference.
Yeah.
So
how Jerry's bit is, Superman has a super sense of humor. And I could have sworn he mentions that later on in the series, but I guess not. Another one of like, I thought this was so much later, but no, he's talking about he's got a super sense of humor. What do you think? He's fast and everything. That one part is not affected by the sun or whatever.
Yeah.
And Elaine comes in. She's coming in late to their lunch, and her whole thing is like she lost a grape, and she was spending time looking for it. That's why she's late.
Yeah, that happens though. You drop something on the floor in the kitchen. It doesn't. You don't know where it goes. It disappears. Or there's gonna be ants at it.
Yeah.
Like the dog's not even finding it.
Yeah, you stick the hound on it. I'm like, all right, Herman, look for it. He's like,
Yeah.
don't worry, I found lint. I ate that. I found everything but a grape, and I ate it.
I found a piece of elbow macaroni I'm crunching on over here.
Yeah,
Don't find your grape.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll take care of this. And then, or it's like I think I've seen things with like guitar picks. So those who are not in the know, Andrew and I both play music. Sometimes you'll drop a pick. The fuck did it go?
Yeah.
It could be like
it just disappears.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't know about you, but I'll buy a pick, and sometimes they're like a couple bucks per pick.
Yeah.
And I like them, but I mean, it's not super smart because it's like, oh, they are expensive. But I'm like, that thing's gone. I'm at like a rehearsal space that we rent out for like a couple hours. I'm like, I kind of want to find that damn thing. Don't want to lose one that may have been like $5.
You waste your whole time there looking for a pick.
Yeah. And then I've been trying to play bass a little bit more with fingers, but still, if I dropped a pick that was like $5, I'm like, you better believe I'm going to pick that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so they kind of do that. And then they just, Elaine, she's sneezing, and she had mentions that she's dating a guy with cats and she's allergic. So George gives the comment of, and I've seen this meme before, it's like guys with cats, he does the shake his head like, no, not for me.
Yeah. That's so weird.
That he has like a stance and he had to say something about it. And I'm like, I don't know, I guess like some people, I totally dig cats more than dogs. I loved my dog a lot, but I liked my dog, not others.
I was always a cat person. We have a little dog, like probably the same size your dog was, but yeah, it's different because it's more like a cat. It's not a big slobbery dog. So.
Yeah, sometimes those big dogs, I'm like, that's a lot of beast in the house.
It's just exhausting. Like, just seems exhausting. They're just big.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. That little, like, George had to like tag on. I'm like, this guy.
His opinion is important.
This guy, let me shit on him real quick. Yeah. But then the conversation's going more so, and then Jerry's still dating that woman from the stakeout episode 2, Vanessa. He's talking about like he wants to go on a trip with her. And then they're going like, okay, that's not good, that's bad. The benefits and or drawbacks of going on a weekend trip with someone. Say like you date them and maybe you're hanging out for the evening or the night or whatever, and then the morning of. So it's like, you may have not spent that much time with that person before. The dating decathlon is what it's called.
Yeah,
going on trips. I think I've done that before, and it really ramps up kind of the relationship. If it goes well.
It could go either way, right?
I think it was like
good or bad.
I was dating someone for maybe like a couple months or a month and a half or something like that. And I was like, what would be cool? Let's take a weekend and drive up to San Francisco. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, are you off? She's like, yeah, I am. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just get somebody to cover my shift and let's go. So we basically had, maybe that evening to plan, and the next morning we just drove up to San Francisco. And I'm like, it was fun, but it really like, spending 3 days with a person, and especially like you could have flown probably, but I'm like, just the price of it. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I got my car. Let's fucking go. And it really like, it went well, but it's
which is a good thing.
Yeah. I spent, what is it? It's like 8-hour drive. So you're 8 hours in the car driving with this person.
Which on the way there would be fine, but if you had a bad weekend, the way back is going to be not fine.
Which is,
fine.
A little bit later in the episode. But yeah, Elaine mentions like, oh, go on this place in Vermont that I, recommended to him. So anyway, so George also, so it's jumping around still at the coffee shop, the conversation that they're having before they eat. George mentions that he has a hot tip on a stock. So he's got some insider info that he's not even supposed to know, not even supposed to mention.
No. Like, Illegal.
Yeah. About like a stock that they should invest in. He's like, oh, we should invest $10,000, $5,000, each of us $2,500. It goes down within, like, nobody even like says anything, and he keeps bringing it down.
And there's no rebuttal. He just keeps dropping it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they talk about it, and then like, he just kind of browbeats Jerry into like, okay, $2,500, invest in this stock. I don't remember what it was. It was some random thing. I think about like televised opera or something like that, or ballet or something like that. It was some random thing that they're like, okay, this sounds stupid.
Yeah.
So I've never invested in stocks at all. I honestly have no idea how that works.
My old pension plan was like stock based.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of watched it a bit for that, but then I lost like $10,000 one month. I'm like, I'm going to stop watching this and just hope I can retire off it.
Let me look when I need to retire. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it goes through like a little funny thing at the end of this scene where they, ordering their food, and then Elaine and Jerry argue about the tuna sandwich and the ethics of that, because of like,
and this kind of nails down this nails the personality of the three characters.
Mm-hmm.
It really.
So they talk about the dolphins and how it's bad for dolphins because they get caught in the nets and stuff like that. And then, so Jerry decides to order chicken instead. He's like, oh, lunch is based on tuna, the foundation, whatever his thing was.
Yeah.
And then Elaine kind of just, beats him down into, he's like, okay, fine, chicken. And then Elaine orders English muffin or whatever. And then George didn't give a shit about the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll take the tuna.
I'll take the tuna. Yeah, I'll have the tuna. And then it just kind of like, Elaine just like stares at him like, you piece of shit. It kind of reminded me of like, it probably was not as close, but it was like a Simpsons joke or whatever. I think when Homer was working on an invention in the basement or whatever. And then Marge comes down and she's like, oh, Homer, I made you a sandwich, a tuna sandwich. They say, tuna sandwich is brain food because all those dolphins get caught in the nets and they get ground up, and they're so smart.
Definitely what it is.
That was super. It just reminded me of that silly Simpsons quote. But anyways, the next scene cuts to Jerry and his girlfriend. They're at a bodega. He's buying cereal, and that was like, he's asking questions about cereal. And then it was definitely in later seasons, they added a shelf in his kitchen to only have cereal.
And the nutritional information was facing out on every box, right?
There are some that have like, you can see that's like a branded cereal out. They did not change it to like post cereal or something like that. Probably just assuming nobody was going to look that closely. But like,
they're going to care.
Mm-hmm. But like, it's funny because it's like, when you look at it, I'm like, he's got like 10 or 12 boxes of cereal. That's a lot of cereal.
That's his main course for every meal.
Yeah. So they totally kept the same kitchen if you see it, and then they added a shelf just for cereal.
Yeah.
It's funny that they lay that groundwork, that and the Superman, kind of in this episode.
Yeah, it's kind of starting off the stuff about Seinfeld.
Yeah. So they're, setting up the thing to like, go to Vermont. The place that Elaine had mentioned for the weekend. So Jerry and his girlfriend. So I think they kind of solidify the plans.
And while they're at the store, Jerry checks the newspaper for the stock prices to see what the change was.
Yeah.
Which that's what you'd have to do then. But today you would just kind of have it on your phone, live updating all the time. But then you'd get one or two updates a day, and that was just in the newspaper.
Yeah, just in the new that's pretty quaint when you think about it.
Yeah.
But he's concerned about it because it's like, oh, probably never invested like that before. And then
he's trusting George.
George's hot tip, which is like somebody he doesn't even know, really.
Yeah.
But he goes back to Jerry's apartment, and then he's checking his stocks again, and it's down. Basically, half of his money is gone. Kramer pops in, and he's so stoked on it. He's watching the stocks plummet as much as Jerry is. He's so happy about it.
He's excited about it.
Smiling. It's like, did you see it? It's like, of course I saw it. He was like, you should have invested in my idea, the tie idea. what is it? The reloadable tie. So it's
if you want it for an interview and you get a stain on your tie, you just pull it off and pull the other one out, and
a new one.
You're ready to go.
So it would have
I think
to
the
be
pizza
just
idea was much better than the tie idea.
the tie idea. It's like you have to rely on only spilling something on your tie.
Yeah, you can't hit the shirt. That has only the tie.
You should have just thrown your money away to Kramer on his dumb tie idea. So just setting up that the whole stock investment is not going well pretty much right away.
Yeah.
And then he's next scene here, he's going to meet George at the dry cleaners. They're talking, and then apparently the George's inside guy of like when to sell, when to tell him to sell, he is in the hospital, and he doesn't really know the guy. He knows him through like a friend of a friend kind of thing. So it's like you heard something and you jumped on it, but you don't really know. George has no idea. So he got Jerry invested in this whole thing. He's invested in it for no reason. It's like, oh, like a bird told me to do this.
Yeah.
So nothing's going well. He's like, they're all both freaking out while they're in line there. And then he finally goes up to the dry cleaners. I think we talked about this previous episode. Like, dry cleaners was a big thing for this show early on, at least. I'm like,
well, dry cleaners was a big thing in that decade. It was we had a dry cleaner down the road, and it was constantly people come and going. There's never an empty parking lot that's dry cleaner. And I'm like Jerry said in his joke, I don't even know if it actually dry cleans. Like, what did they actually do to your clothes?
I'm like, what do you dry clean? Is it like suede
suits and shirts?
I guess like a
suit jacket.
A suit jacket. I'm like, I guess I've never ever owned anything that you would need to dry clean. Even like my fanciest shit, and even it could just be the style of the times now. It's like you could go to a wedding, something fancy, and just wear black jeans.
Yeah.
You can go to and wear black jeans and like Converse, and people are like, "That's fancy as fuck, dude."
Yeah, as long as everything matches, you're good.
Just wear like a button-up shirt, and people are like, "Oh, damn, you're looking good, dude."
I get suits, but I don't think I've ever actually took them to get them cleaned. Wash the pants in the wash machine, hang the jacket up. That's about it.
Yeah, I've only ever worn like a was it? I think it was like a tux or whatever for my sister's wedding. That was the only time I've ever done it.
We're not fancy people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, apparently we're not. But a funny thing, like they're at he gets to the clerk of the dry cleaners, and then they shrunk his shirt, and he basically just wanted to complain. Pulls up the shirt. It's like, what? It's for the size for like a hand puppet.
Yeah, it's like a 6-year-old shirt. It's still so small.
And then the whole thing was he didn't have a receipt, so he's like, oh, it's like, I don't know if we even did that. It's like this was pretty good. It's like,
this is my scam. I just drive around town with this tiny shirt.
His like Jerry's response was like, do you think it's like an elaborate ruse that I have to scam all the dry cleaners out of their money carrying around a tiny shirt? And then the guy, he's like, I just want you to say that you messed it up. And then the guy is like,
I don't even want my money back. Don't even buy a shirt. Just tell me you did wrong.
Yeah. He goes and whispers like, we ruined it. We shrunk it. And he's like, that was all he wanted.
Yeah. Admission of guilt.
Yeah, basically. That's pretty much it. Then goes to a stand-up bit, like you were talking about his dry cleaning. There's no real dry cleaning. The only real dry cleaning is when you kind of wipe off crumbs off your shirt, or if you have like a little sauce stain on your pants, you could scratch it off with your thumb, your
that's dry cleaning.
That's dry cleaning. No liquids involved.
Yeah.
All right. So goes back to their apartment. Goes back to Jerry's apartment, and Elaine is there sneezing. She's sneezing up a storm there because of the
now, we have 4 cats,
mm-hmm.
and we keep a bottle of Claritin in the house at all times.
Mm-hmm.
We buy like the Costco bucket of Claritin.
Mm-hmm.
So our friends don't have this problem that Elaine's having. So.
Yeah. Oh, you got to keep
Good
that.
idea,
Keep that.
pets.
Oh, it's a little hack there.
Yeah.
So if you have the cats there, it's like, hey, you can have some of this Claritin, but the cats, they're not.
The cat's house, but you can have this pill if you want to stay.
If you want to visit the cat's house, you can do that.
Yeah.
But Elaine's not having the cats. She's not digging it, but she likes the guy. And she just jokes about hiring a hitman for the cats and stuff like that.
Which is funny because she was so against the tuna sandwich because of the dolphins, but then she's talking about offing a couple cats.
Yeah, killing some cats.
And then later on in I don't know what season, was she wants to off the dog. Remember? She wants to kill the dog that wants to bark.
A neighbor's dog. She's totally fine about it, but the dolphins, that's the thing.
Yeah, but not the dolphins.
Yeah. But that quickly ends when Kramer comes in to give more shit news about Jerry's stocks. I think he gave a number. He's down $1,500. So that's a lot. I mean, I would be pissed if I lost $1,500, but even back then,
yeah, it was over half his money gone.
Yeah. And then, so he's giving him the news. He's happy about it. He's stoked. And then out of nowhere, this was a funny bit. I don't know why this was in here. So they talk about the stocks, and quickly Kramer runs to Jerry's window to grab the binoculars that were on Jerry's desk to look down on the street. He sees a woman. I'm like, why did he do that? Is that like a thing that he normally does? You know,
I wonder if they're trying to character build. Like, let's have him be this guy.
Let's also have him be like,
and then yeah,
you know, and then he's looking at some chick on the waiting for a bus or whatever. He's like, what a body. And then
just so he's like cringy weird.
He's like, I'm gonna head down there and talk to her. And that's very. It's funny because it's not. I guess it is. It's creepy, but it's also like he makes it work in the show. It kind of gives his character. He'll just talk to somebody and be like, hey.
Yeah, just walk up
and he can make it
just start with, I saw you from the binoculars.
Yeah, he's like, oh, she's gonna be happy about you.
Yeah,
and then he leaves. Why was that in there? It's funny, but it's also like this had nothing to do. It didn't have to be in there.
No, it didn't quite fit the episode at all. But
no, I think they were kind of maybe like a spaghetti at the wall kind of thing. What stuck? And it's funny. It wasn't bad at all because he always is kind of like the one to give bad relationship advice.
Yeah,
he was the one in the first episode. He's like, don't give her a place to stay. She has to sleep in your bed. He's like, all right, you fucking perv.
Yeah. It does seem like it was maybe just trying to character build him a bit.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't do a huge detriment to him. It's still funny.
No.
Yeah. But anyways, that's it. He leaves. And then like George comes in at the same time. And now we're back to the story about the stock. So that was just so funny. I had to make a point to be like that because it's like, why was that in there? He comes in just to shit on him about the stock. And then he's like, oh, let me go look at a girl. There was nothing that prompted him to do it either. He just kind of was.
No, he just
put the paper down and ran to the window. I'm like, I wonder if there was something other, maybe a part of the story that they wanted to bring on. It just never happened.
Or something got cut out. The DVD didn't have any cutscenes or anything on it. So
yeah, I
was wondering if maybe that was part of it, but there's nothing in there. So.
Yeah. Or they just left a bunch of open ends. Like, oh, we could add on this if we don't have time or whatever. But
yeah,
anyways, so I just thought that was funny to mention. So anyways, back to it. George comes in to talk about he met Wilkinson at the hospital. So that was the guy that he doesn't know, but he knows him through a friend.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
And I think he's in the hospital, like something happened. He's sick in the hospital.
Yeah. He's sick in the hospital. So the fact that he's going to meet somebody, like, I don't know this person. I'm going to go see him in the hospital.
Yeah.
Good plan. Good plan. And he basically got thrown out immediately.
Yeah.
So he's like, I got nothing. They're still in the same spot. They're both down $1,500. Don't know what to do.
But the guy wasn't even sick. The guy was in getting a nose job done. It wasn't even like an emergency thing.
Yeah. He was elective surgery.
Yeah.
So, that was pretty good. He's like, I don't know what he's sick with, but he threw me out of that fucking. I was in the parking lot before I knew it.
15 seconds. I was out in the parking lot.
Yeah. So that's when they decide what's going to happen. Jerry decides he's going to sell the stock, and George is going down with the ship. He's going to stick it out. So if he loses all
this far, it can only get better.
Yeah. If he's going to lose the last 1,000, then he's going to do it. And I think Jerry wants to be like, okay, if I can only be down $1,500, I'd rather that than $2,500. Makes sense. And then now cuts to the Vermont trip. It's raining. It's not good. They're not having a good time. It's a bad time all around.
And the quaint things that Elaine brought up, she didn't really appreciate. So it didn't feel quaint to her. It just felt cheap.
Like, oh, here's like a cute thing. We're at this place and separate faucets on the sink for the hot and cold, and you mix it, And
yeah, she didn't like that.
Yeah, and Jerry's like quickly, no small talk. He's running out of it.
Yeah, he's trying the small talk and he's getting one word answers out of her.
Yeah, he's like, oh, nice watch. Da-da-da. Do you wind it? No, battery. Okay. Well, that lasted 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, no conversation.
And he could just like the whole they're sitting so far away from each other too.
Yeah.
So she went from being like in episode 2 to being like, oh, I really need this woman. We're having such great banter. Da, 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 da. I really need to like meet this woman, all the way to, boy, I fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's all like, all right, I got one for you. And, the perfume, asks about her perfume. And she won't tell him what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what is it?
Tell you.
It's, oh, I can't tell you. He's like, it's so weird and a weird thing to do, but I get why they added it, because it adds to the awkwardness of like,
yeah, it's just an awkward
this
thing.
is like more of a stranger.
Awkward.
Yeah, it's more of a stranger than it kind of made it out to be. We're not like a boyfriend, girlfriend. We're dating. I think they're like at this point where they're like, I guess like that's maybe the way to word things. I'm like, they're not a couple yet. They're just dating.
They're just
and
feeling things out. So.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this will be great for our dating life. No, it was not good, and circumstance and everything.
Yeah.
So, they're there, nothing.
And then she thought that they went there because he lost the stock money. So he was
yeah. So, but I guess he checks the stock right then, and then he sees that it's up, and he would have gained $4,000. And then that's where she kind of has the dig at him. It's like, oh, we're probably here because you lost all that money, so you brought me to a shithole. And Jerry's,
when he was trying to be quaint and cute, but
and it's like, boy, you had to just twist that one, huh? It's not even just the money now. Now he's stuck with this. He's like counting down the hours. I think it was like 29 hours. He said it's like or something like that. All right, what do we got? 29 hours to go.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just like you could tell it was a shitty weekend that he had. Only just from that little bit.
Been stuck in that. Like I've been in conversations like that where you're trying to have a conversation with someone that's just not going anywhere, but not for a couple of days.
No,
I've never had the luxury of that situation.
No, and I had mentioned it earlier. Like the one that sticks out is that trip to San Francisco, which worked out really well because everything was fun. I think it was more of just like early enough in the relationship that was like, cool, we're both not working. This is just fun. We take in everything. I'm like, oh, we're walking around and just going to restaurants or shops or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is, cool. This is awesome. And we're just walking
enjoying
around
the area.
Yeah.
So when Ashley and I went to New York,
mm-hmm.
we were married. We were married then. But it was fun. We just walked around and did what we wanted to do. There's no plan, no agenda. Just we just did it, and that seems to be the best way to do this stuff. Just kind of enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy something together, and not have a schedule, because schedules kind of like add stress to the situation.
Yeah, it makes it more work, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we got to be here by this time. We got to do this. Rush. And this was like, cool. We're hungry, so let's go find a place to eat. Well, I don't know. This is cool. What do you want to eat? I don't know. Food. Let's figure it out. Boom, go. And that's kind of what was fun. I don't think I've ever been anywhere that's, boy, this fucking sucks. And everybody's shitty about the situation. But
no.
I'm sure it'll happen. I say that. It could happen one of these days. But you could just tell how much that sucks for him. He's just like the inner monologue of it. And then him like, oh boy. All right, I guess I got time to figure out what that perfume is. That's the only thing that he has looking forward to. He's like, it's the only thing he has like to do in this 29, 39 hours or whatever.
So now he's here. He lost money.
Mm-hmm.
Then he finds out that he could have gained money.
Yeah.
George got money.
Yeah.
And then they go back to
monks.
Back to monks.
Yeah.
They're in a
So
booth. They're in a booth again against the window, which they do go back to that window booth
I think,
later on
yeah. This one
with
actually,
the lighting situation.
this one when they're at Monk's again, they're at a table, and then
Oh yes.
they got
the
like
booth was earlier.
tons of empty plates and stuff like that. It's like, George treats them to like just a feast at Monk's.
Oh yeah, George's feet are up on the table. He has a cigar going.
Yeah,
being,
he's like
super generous.
very cocky at this point. He's like going hard. He's going ham at Monk's. He's like, get food, get someone's like, George, I'm not hungry. He's like, don't finish it. I'm like,
Yeah, just buy it and leave it on the table.
George, the one who's just like, he's like, he doesn't
The
want
cheapest guy.
Yeah, does the penny roller from the previous episode.
Which they roll back to with so he's being all generous. He's saying, buy
Yeah,
food,
yeah.
whatever. Don't even eat it. And then she comes up with the bill and he's like, doesn't he want to see the bill? He says, here, this should cover it.
Mhm.
And then he takes a peek at the bill. And then he takes a $1 bill back from the waitress.
Which it's funny because I could see it just on my monitor. I mean, I'm sure it could have been like a $5 or whatever, but the fact that it was a $1.
Yeah, $1 bill.
Like that was gonna make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
And she's got a grip on that thing, kung fu
Yeah,
grip.
she's
She's
holding
not,
on
and then he just like pulls it out.
Gives her side eyes.
A very George moment. He acts like a big shot, and then he
Yeah.
immediately like, "Oh, come back here." Oh wait, no, we get that $1 back.
Yeah, I'm George.
But I guess before that, I think that's the last scene of the show or this episode. It goes, the wrap up of what happens with Elaine's boyfriend and Jerry's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Elaine and her boyfriend broke up. She gave him the ultimatum.
You were the cats.
Yep, he chose the cats.
Yeah.
And
Which
I
They
would.
seem to think that was a really bad thing, but I'm thinking if I was dating someone new and they're like, well, date me, you gotta get rid of the cat. I'd be like, well, bye.
And it's not just
Yeah.
one; it's two cats. And I'm like, look, all right, hit the bricks.
Yeah, that's your family, man.
You're only
I don't think
got a couple dates in. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm choosing the cats.
Yeah, exactly. So
And-
they act like it was a big insult, but I don't think it was. I think it was just.
I think it
actually
could
what
be
would
just
really, really happen. Yeah,
a difference in time or culture and stuff like that. To me, I'm like, no. If I like somebody didn't like my dog, he's since passed, but it's just at the time I would be like, get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry, we're done.
yeah, it's my dog.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
my
yeah.
homie.
Yeah, exactly. And he was here before you.
Yeah,
And then it goes on to like obvious news about Jerry and his chick. That's done. And then because how great it went in Vermont.
yeah,
You could only guess, they're done. But I like it. George is very cocky in this situation. He's like, he's even talking differently. He's like, I told you those trips are relationship killers. And I'm like, where did that come from? He's puffing on his cigarettes. Like, I don't know. Why don't you have your friend Superman just, turn back time and you could have kept the stock. You could have not gone on the trip. And you just like see Jerry just like you piece, like you're my friend, but what the hell is your problem? And he only,
Yeah.
he made $8,000, which is not,
yeah.
not a
He's
life.
like, it's a Hyundai. It's a Hyundai.
Yeah. I'm like, it's not the. Even now, I would like $8,000, but I'm like, I wouldn't turn into like a fucking prick. It just
No,
again,
I'll pay off a couple bills and say, well, that's nice.
yeah, and
So-
it's a very George. They definitely flesh out George with that.
Yeah, they're doing well.
He's a ball of stress and breaking down, probably close to tears from losing money. He gets $8,000 and he's just like top of the world.
Yeah, he's also Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, he's the Great Gatsby.
Yeah. And
He's just putting on the Ritz with the fucking ad monks.
Here's the thing. They don't go to a different diner.
No, they
Same
don't even go
diner.
to a different like fancy restaurant, Mindy's or anything like that. They go
Yeah.
to monks. Still monks.
Yeah. Yeah.
The big salad with a lot of stuff in it. It's pretty good. So not even buying like drinks because it's at a coffee shop.
Yeah, exactly.
So how big could that bill be? I guess it was $25 $5 is what it was.
Yeah. Not bad at all.
Not 26.
But they, when they brought back Jerry's girlfriend for this episode, they were just going to cast anyone to play that part. And Larry David said it made no sense that we never saw Jerry break up with this girl.
Yeah.
So bring her back for this episode, and then he can be with the same girl still, because it would make sense to not be with her because they never broke up.
Yeah.
And then they can break up and he can move on. So it was, Larry David was always worried about the story following through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably important to the show to have him being on top of that, because no one else really seemed to care. They're like, just cast anybody. It's just for jokes. But he wanted the continuity. He wanted to continue through continuity. You can clip that out.
I'm going to leave that part in.
You definitely are. Continuity, he wanted to carry through. So.
Yeah. And it's funny because they don't ever do that. Like, again, like most of it, the girlfriends are one episode.
He breaks up with every girl. Yeah, because he finds something annoying about them and drops them.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
I even think of like the Lois, one girl that was like, oh, he was really like, she just never comes back. I think they were just like, oh, whatever happened with Lois? It just didn't work out. And then they move on, which is funny. And then he's dating somebody else. They never have a constant girlfriend.
No. But George does.
Except for George. Yeah. Well, and now I say that.
Elaine.
And then Elaine, yeah. you got Putty. I think he's a great one.
Yeah, Putty was good.
But
we'll get on Putty another episode.
Another time when he comes in. But yeah, this was a fun one. And I don't know. I think I'm saying that with every episode. This season,
I do look forward to season 2 though, to see like after they did this 5 episodes. Season 2 is only 8 or 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a short season as well. Yeah. I'm interested to see the fleshing out that they did in the meantime between the seasons and what they ironed out. Yeah.
So this is good. I was not looking forward to season 1 because I thought, I'm like, oh, what's that to trudge through these? And they're awesome. They're great. This was great. This was 5 episodes. The 5 episodes were fun. So
yeah. At the end of this, we're going to be like 10 years from now going, episode 170. It's probably one of the best episodes.
I don't know. This is probably good or bad that we're doing this. It's like, I don't know. Can't say a bad one in the bunch.
No. I think that's probably why we're doing this.
Yeah. It's awesome. But we're just gushing over Seinfeld here. So we got through season 1. 5 episodes. We're going to jump into season 2. Like, Andrew said, I'm stoked to see how that progresses, and even just watching these in a row with a little more critical eye, it's fun. It's a good, interesting. I don't know. It gives us a different way to watch it. I'm sure, you could say the same thing. We just watch it a bunch, and you're like, okay, cool, it's on TV. Yep, okay. And then now watching this, I'm like, oh, okay. Things that
never actually analyzed what was going on, and just laughed at the jokes and moved on.
I would have never thought about the girlfriend until watching this again. I'm like, oh, that is the same woman. And she is not having any of Jerry's shit. She does a good job of just changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's smiling about it too. In the same way she was like kind of smiling and like receptive of his jokes in the episode 2. This one, he's like, no, it's a watch. You wind it. Mm-hmm. Or it's like, no, batteries. Mm-hmm. Yep. What else you got, joke man? It's fun. But thanks for tuning in. We have an Instagram at the Second Button Podcast, and we have a YouTube channel, both linked in the description of the podcast. Be sure to follow and subscribe to that. And
and we have a Twitter that we do not use, but
if
we do use that, we'll start putting that in there.
It's probably just posting the episode.
Yeah,
definitely. I would say the YouTube, because eventually we're going to work out the video and it'll be fun. So, we will see you in a couple weeks for season 2, episode 1,
right after Christmas.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye now.
Bye-bye.